What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video we have a very spicy submission from 10-8 Suited, who's running a triple shadow team in the Open Ultra League with Ursaring, Electivire, and a 100% IV level 50 Electrode. This Pokemon doesn't quite reach the 2400s, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs up against the meta. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is your best IV shadow Pokemon? Maybe you do have a 100% IV shadow Pokemon, or maybe you've got a rank 1 shadow Pokemon. Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, lead Shadow Ursaring into a Steelix, so well, I mean, it's pretty good to see Steelix in the lead instead of up against both of our electric types in the back. Unfortunately, this entire team is very glassy, so we have to shield a Breaking Swipe, but the opponent gives up switch advantage. They swap into a Blastoise, and we can at least live this. This Hydro Cannon is going to do quite a lot of damage here. Hopefully, we can make it to back-to-back discharges before they do Water Gun farm us down, but we're going to see. We get a shield here. Can we make it to the second one in time? Yes, we can, and this is really nice for us. If we do grab the final shield, that's fine, but the opponent lets the Blastoise go down, and we can maintain the alignment here. Coming back in with the Ursaring, going for a close combat. We actually throw on the alignment there, not ideal for us, but we grab a shield from the opponent, and we can just go straight for close combat number 2, and this is perfect. Close combat. They actually catch it onto, oh my gosh, I did not see that catch at all. That was an incredible catch by the opponent onto the Toxicroak. We go for an Ice Punch, taking out the Toxicroak, and here all we have to do is let the Electivire go down, and we should still have enough health on our Ursaring to make it to a close combat in time. Gonna go for the Ice Punch. It's not really gonna matter too much, but I guess they will be able to debuff our attack, and so a close combat would be doing less damage from the Ursaring, but yeah, we've definitely got enough health here, and we should be able to outpace them to the next charge move, so they go for the Breaking Swipe, debuffing our attack, but we make it to the close combat in time, and this will be enough damage to take out the Steelix, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Jellicent in the lead, so very good lead matchup and just really good for the entire team, especially since we are running Trailblaze here. The opponent save swaps into a Charizard, we respond with Electrode, and the opponent throws on alignment, giving us a full Volt Switch in for free. Now they do bait us, which is unfortunate, but if we want to, I suppose we can just double shield and fully farm them down, and that's probably what we're going to have to do here. Once again, throwing on alignment, perfect for us. We're actually going to let this move go through. It is just a bait, and we get the farm down. Really nice call there, and the opponent comes in with Cobalion. Not too good for us, but we do have a ton of loaded energy, so gonna go for the discharge. We farm to the back-to-back here, so we can throw the second one straight away, and this discharge probably grabs a shield from the opponent, and it does exactly that. Now we just swap into Electivire. I like this play. Don't want to let them farm us down or farm up any extra energy. We can let that move go through. They come back in with the Jellicent. We are just going to happily shield this up, farm up a ton of energy, farm to the back-to-back wild charges, in fact, and this one should be enough damage from this range to take out the Jellicent here, and it does. It takes out the Jellicent, and we can go for Wild Charge number 2 up against the Cobalion, and Wild Charge takes out the Cobalion, and Electivire sweeps that game. So into the next game, not the best lead, gonna say swap into our Shadow Electivire, and we're met with a Swampert. Now, not ideal for us, but Electivire can put in a ton of work here, especially up a slight energy advantage, and the opponent gonna overfarm, perfectly thrown just before we make it to the next charge move. We're just gonna let the Hydro Cannon take us out, come back in with the Ursaring, and unfortunately, we're probably going to have to shield this up. Hydro Cannon would do a ton of damage here, but they full send an Earthquake in actual fact. I suppose that's fine. We're going to go for the CMP type. Very good counting there. Going for the Trailblaze, taking out the Swampert, boosting our attack in the process, and the opponent, if they come back in with the Greninja, well, actually, no, they don't. They come in with Charizard. That's not ideal for the Ursaring, but it doesn't matter. We're probably going to grab the shield. We grab that shield, and we swap into the Electrode, and this is really good, especially when they throw on alignment once again, giving us a full Volt Switch in for free. Yeah, I don't think we could have committed to the full farm down here, so we're going to go for the discharge, grabbing a shield. Hopefully we can live a Hydro Cannon from this range, but let's see, we do barely live it. We get the farm down, and we should come out with a charge move loaded. Gonna go for the discharge into the Charizard, and from this range, it actually doesn't take them out, but oh my gosh. Did they get the perfect farm down there? Is this a Blast Burn? It is, and it takes out the Ursaring, and Charizard somehow pulls that game off there. Very good game by the opponent, unlucky for us, but into the next game, we see a Pidgeot in the lead, gonna save swap into Electivire, and the opponent responds with a Cobalion, so it's probably a Jellicent in the back, very common team. I mean, I haven't even played Open Ultra League for ages, but I'm just assuming that's the team, and we do grab a shield advantage. I think we'll happily just take that. I think Electrode should be able to core break the rest of their team, so we come in with the Electrode. Possibly could have just come in with the Earth Ring, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to shield the first move. They probably will make it to another move in time, and they do. We're happy to let the next move go through. Just going to be a Sacred Sword. Doesn't do too much damage. We do get the farm down, and it is a Jellicent in the back here, so we can go straight for Discharge. This actually won't take them out, so they might let it go through. They do let it go through, and we over farm here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to use a shield, but they're in range where we can just farm them down, and the opponent is actually, no, we can't farm them down, so we make a catch onto the Shadow Earth Ring. Really nice play, catching the Surf. The opponent comes in with their Pidgeot, and we are not going to throw. They're probably just going to Feather Dance though, so they do go for that Feather Dance, and we're going to commit to the Hyper Beam. This is going to do so much damage, even though we are debuffed. It gets them incredibly low, but unfortunately we don't grab that shield, and I think they've got a charge move loaded, so we go for the Discharge, grabbing the shield, but no, they didn't have the move there. We make it to Discharge number 2, taking out the Pidgeot, and we just take that game. I didn't realize that the Jellicent was already taken out there. What? Okay, but into the next game here, we're going to see a Tapu Fini in the lead. We say swap into Electivire. We're actually going to go for a Wild Charge here. This will do a lot more damage than an Ice Punch, even though it is resisted damage, and the opponent does let it go through. We're also going to let this move go through. Breaking Swipe doesn't quite take us out there, and we do correctly go for one extra Thunder Shock, going for another Wild Charge, and flipping Switch Advantage up against the Tapu Fini. Really nice play. We now come in with the Electrode, and we go straight for a Discharge, throwing just before they make it to a Surf, and the opponent is going to shield up the Discharge. They're going to continue to overfarm and throw just before we make it to Discharge number 2. So good timing by the opponent. Surf grabs our shield. We go for Discharge number 2 as soon as we possibly can, and the opponent shields it up. It's actually a CMP tie, so that's perfect for us. We can now shield once again, and the opponent's going to stay in. I don't think we're going to get the full farm down, so we swap, we bank the energy, we come in with the Earth Ring, and hopefully that energy will be helpful in the end game, and it will, because they've got Charizard in the back. We should be going for a charge move here, but we throw on the CMP tie as they reach back-to-back Dragon Claws. Very good play by the opponent as well here, and now we just got to hope that Electrode can tank a Dragon Claw from this range. It's going to be close, but I don't think we're going to live this Dragon Claw here. Let's see, the opponent goes for the Dragon Claw. It takes us out, and once again, Charizard beating our team right at the last second there. Even though we've got a pretty strong team up against Charizard, that is a bit sad. But into the next game, we're going to see Poliwrath in the lead. We bait with an Ice Punch. The opponent calls the bait. That is really unfortunate, but I suppose if you don't farm up a ton of energy, it's quite unlikely that we're just going to go straight for the Wild Charge there. And the opponent makes a really nice catch. Oh, okay, never mind. They caught it onto Greninja, which gets completely one-shot by the Wild Charge there. And now we come in with the Electrode. We can just shield this, fully Volt Switch, farm them down. And if they were that weak to Electric-type Pokemon, what have they got in the back? It is a Togekiss, so this is one of the strangest teams I've seen, but we're going to go for the Discharge, grab a shield, swap into the Ursa Ring, and hopefully just make it to a Hyper Beam in time before they go for the Charm Farm Down. And we do make it to that Hyper Beam, but this Togekiss is going to come out. Actually, no, they just let the move go through, and we take that game. So very interesting game there. Into the next game, we see a Galvantula in the lead, and we're going to stay in. We swap, we catch the move onto Electivire. Not so sure about this play here, because now they can just come in with whatever, and we are debuffed, but they actually stay in with the Galvantula, and we're just going to go for an Ice Punch. Ice Punch, not going to do too much damage now that we are debuffed, but the opponent shields it anyway. So we are going to let Electivire go down. A second lunge does take us out. We've got quite a lot of energy on the Ursa Ring, so we might come back in with the Ursa Ring here, and we do exactly that. Gonna go for a Close Combat after 3 Shadow Claws, and Close Combat will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Opponent double shielding their Galvantula right in the lead here. Interesting play. We're now going to swap into the Electrode, and they will be able to, unfortunately, outpace us to another lunge, and this Galvantula is really putting in work. The opponent swaps into a Registeel, so we're going to go for a Discharge straight away, and Discharge not going to do much damage now that they have debuffed our attack. But the Ursa Ring should be able to get a massive farm when we do eventually let the Electrode go down. So we're going to probably let this move go through. Yep, we do let it go through. The opponent going to go for the Focus Blast or Zap Cannon or Flash Cannon maybe, I don't know. I think it might have been Flash Cannon there, just from the animation, but we're going to shield this move, and that definitely looks like a Flash Cannon. We can farm to nearly 100 energy, go for close combat, number 1, taking out the Registeel, and the opponent's going to come in with a Tapu Fini, and we barely make it to the Hyper Beam in time. How much damage does this do? It one-shots the Tapu Fini, but unfortunately, they've still got the Galvantula in the back, and we do lose that game. But into the next game, pretty good lead matchup for us as we see a Drifblim in the lead, and we are dealing super effective damage whilst resisting their damage with the fast moves. We're going to simultaneously swap there. The opponent swaps into Greninja. We swap into Electrode, so pretty good matchup for us. Once again, we will see Hydro Cannon's going to do a ton of damage, but we can live one. So we're going to let the first one go through. The opponent goes for the Hydro Cannon, does huge damage, and they can actually farm us down before we get to the discharge. That is really unfortunate. But now we can just get a nice energy advantage with the Electivire. We shield the first move. Unfortunately, they bait us there, and we're going to double shield the Electivire. It is just another Night Slash there, which is unfortunate. Wouldn't have done too much damage, although the Electivire is very glassy. The opponent comes back in with the Drifblim. We're going to go straight for the Wild Charge here. No messing around. Wild Charge takes out the Drifblim, and the opponent's got Giratina in the back. So this is a bit tricky. Going to go for the Ice Punch straight away, then probably swapping into the Ursaring, and we've only got double resisted charge moves here. But does the opponent know that? We are going to full send a Hyper Beam, and how much damage does this do? It is double resisted. It grabs the shield, which is fine, and the opponent will not be able to fast move farm us down, so they do eventually throw their charge move. Dragon Claw will be taking out the Ursaring, and can we live a Dragon Claw from this range? Electivire, incredibly glassy Pokemon. We do barely live it. We live one more Shadow Claw, make it to the Ice Punch, and an Ice Punch will be enough damage to take out the Giratina, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Ursaring into a Tapu Fini. So we are going to swap out immediately into Electivire. The opponent responds with a Giratina, and this is where Ice Punch is really nice coverage. Ice Punch not quite going to do 50%. It only does about maybe 30-35%, but honestly, it's still a decent amount of damage. Considering we are an electric type here and we shouldn't be able to do much up against dragons, we go for Ice Punch number 2, throwing on the CMP tie. We get them incredibly low into perfect farm down range for the Ursaring with the Shadow Claw damage before they make it to another Dragon Claw. Now the opponent comes back in with the Tapu Fini. We're actually just going to go for close combat here. We could be running Trailblaze. We actually have been running Trailblaze for some of the battles, but the opponent does correctly no shield there. We then come in with Electrode. We kind of have to shield this up just because we don't know what's in the back, and actually it's a Charizard. We've lost to 2 Charizards already. Can we finally get redemption here up against Charizard number 3? And the opponent throws just before we make it to the discharge. We're actually going to let this move go through, and it is just a Dragon Claw, which is perfect for us. We can make it to another discharge in time. Discharge, going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and they do make it to another charge move. Honestly, I probably would shield here just because even if they do outpace us, we should put them into range where we can just farm down with the Ursaring. But now we're going to have to shield, and we're going to have to use a charge move to take out this Charizard here. But we do overfarm massively, throwing on the CMP tie. Really good counting here. I've not been keeping track, but we take out the Charizard. We make it to another close combat. This is resisted damage, but close combat takes out the Tapu Fini, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see another Tapu Fini in the lead. So going to save swap once again into the Electivire, and we can at least grab a shield advantage here. We're going to bait with an Ice Punch, quite risky, but the opponent actually lets it go through there, and that's really unfortunate. At this point, we're going to shield. We should be able to make it to another Ice Punch, of course, but they might be able to shield this and then just fully farm us down. So let's see if we can make it to another Ice Punch in time. No, we're not able to do so, and baiting has cost us quite a lot. Now we're going to come in with the Electrode, let the first Mud Bomb go through. That does so much damage. We do get the farm down though, and they come back in with the Tapu Fini. So we're going to go for a discharge straight away, probably grab a shield, and now we swap instantly back into the Ursaring. And unfortunately, the opponent has a Mandibuzz in the back. This isn't looking too good for us. They are resisting the fast move damage. Hyper Beam obviously going to do a ton of damage, but honestly, that charge move from the Mandibuzz did nearly half our health there. We're not looking to be in a great position. We full send the Hyper Beam, and are we just going to let this move go through? We do. It takes us out. We come back in with the Electrode. Can we get the farm down here? It looks like we can, but I don't think a discharge will be enough damage to take out the Tapu Fini here. We do get the farm down. Going to go for the discharge. Is this enough damage to take out the Tapu Fini from this range? No, it's not enough damage there, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next game, we see Greninja in the lead. So gonna actually stay in initially. I would have safe swapped immediately into the Electivire like we've done a few times, but we go straight for a close combat, grabbing a shield, and now we swap. But this Greninja is so loaded, we're actually going to call a bait here. The opponent is going to go for that Night Slash bait, which is fortunate for us, and they swap into Cresselia. Now, this is quite good for us. We're not really at risk of being farmed down by their fast moves, so we do full send the Wild Charge there. It does connect, but the opponent barely outpaces us to the next charge move. So we come in with the Ursaring. Shadow Claws are going to be super effective here. We're going to let this move go through as well, as the opponent does go for another Grass Knot. We can farm to the back-to-back close combats, throwing on the CMP tie once again. Really good counting. Close combat takes out Cresselia, and we've got another one to throw straight away. The opponent comes in with Charizard, which is not ideal, but it does deal nearly half their health there, and we can just fully Volt Switch, farm them all the way down. This is the easiest shield in our life. We shield up the Dragon Claw, doesn't matter, they don't make it to another charge move, and we do make it to the back-to-back charge moves here. We should be able to live a Hydro Cannon anyways. They go, oh my gosh, they boost with the Night Slash. Can we now live this? Luckily, it is just another Night Slash there, and now we can go for the discharge, grab the shield, and we make it to discharge number 2, and this will be enough damage to take out the Greninja, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see Giratina in the lead, so probably going to stay in initially. Unfortunately, they're running Dragon Breath as the fast move, so this isn't a great matchup for us. Obviously, dealing super effective damage with our fast moves, but unfortunately, they would resist everything we can throw. So we swap into Electivire, we go for an Ice Punch. Ice Punch gets the Giratina, barely not into the red health, but one more Thunder Shock does, and we should be able to live this and make it to another Ice Punch before they farm us down. But they make a nice catch. I'm not sure what they caught it on, but it's a Wall Rain. Oh, really nice catch by the opponent. Double resisted Ice Punch. Really good play there as we come in with the Ursaring, go for a close combat straight away, and we grab a shield from the opponent. CMP tying as well, which is best case scenario for us. Really good catch, but we do make a very nice play to get back into the game, and we come in with the Electrode. We kind of have to shield. Icicle Spear, not going to do too much damage, but we don't know what they've got in the back, so we're going to over farm, throwing just before they make it to the next Icicle Spear, and Discharge obviously going to take out the Wall Rain from this range. They come in with a Talonflame, so we are going to farm to 3 Volt Switches, go for the Discharge. This probably doesn't quite take them out. Actually, it does take them out from that range, but can we withstand the Dragon Breath damage from this Giratina? We go for the foul play. Oh, it's going to be so close, but we barely don't get there, and the opponent does farm us down, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next game, really good lead, but the opponent swaps into Venusaur. We don't have a response, so we just go for a resisted close combat. The opponent rightly lets it go through. We come in with the Electrode, and we're going to have to shield this up. No, we're actually going to let it go through, and Frenzy Plant one-shots the Shadow Electrode. Very interesting play there. We're now going to come back in with the Ursaring, probably shield, and hopefully we can just Shadow Claw or farm them down from this range. So let's see if we're able to get that farm down, and yes, we're able to do so. They then come in with Empoleon, so we can go straight for a close combat. This should be grabbing a shield, and now, unfortunately, we can't swap out yet, but we do make it to close combat number 2, which is really nice. This will grab the final shield. We then come in with the Electivire, and we can safely shield this up. We've got to be wary of a catch from the opponent, but honestly, we'd probably prefer if they did catch, but now we can just overfarm massively. Once again, it looks like a CMP tie, so perfect timing, taking out the Empoleon. One more Thunder Shock allows us to reach Wild Charge number 2, and Wild Charge one-shots the Gengar, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see Swampert in the lead, so not a great lead matchup, but probably better to see it here than in the back, and we are unfortunately not running Trailblaze anymore, so we're going to go straight for a close combat and then swap into Electrode, which is a bit of a strange play, but I guess we debuff our defense, so Ursaring kind of useless after throwing that close combat, and the opponent does just go for a Hydro Cannon, which Electrode is able to live. We go for a foul play, we get them fairly low, and at this point I do agree with this. We can just let the Electrode go down. Swampert is in farm down range. They're probably going to reach another charge move, but we will be able to take them out here. Excuse me there, and we're going to shield the next move. Hopefully we can just fully farm them down, and we do get the farm down just before they make it to the next charge move. They come in with a Talonflame, so we're just going to full send the Hyper Beam here. Hyper Beam unfortunately gets shielded by the Talonflame. We kind of have to shield this up, even though it's just going to be a flame charge. It will do quite a lot of damage, and the opponent's got Registeel in the back. This is looking like it can be possible for Electivire to sweep this game. Going to go for the first Wild Charge, dealing about 50% of their health. This second Wild Charge should be enough damage, to take out the Registeel, and then we should be able to make it to one final wild charge on the CMP tie with the next flame charge, but wild charge will be taking out the Talonflame, and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.